to Block TV. Now, even though most of the world is on lockdown, like they say, the show must go on. And today we are joined by Stephen Stonberg, CFO of Bittrex Global. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, first off, it must be said, this is a major global event, an economic hit like the world has not seen, definitely at least since 2008 or the Great Depression. How has the economic volatility set upon by COVID-19 affected Bittrex trading?
Well, I think all markets have been affected by a huge amount of volatility. And we've seen a huge upsurge in trading volumes the last few weeks. Global markets have seen a huge uptick in trading volume. I mean, ironically, you've seen more volatility in traditional markets, though, than in the crypto markets, which is a pretty interesting change of events. But I think that one of the biggest trends we've seen, investors are looking for alternative homes for their capital right now, and cryptocurrency is looking a lot less risky. And many are really evaluating this now as a potential store of value. Mm-hmm. So again, while all the asset classes seem really volatile, one of the main psychological barriers to entry with regard to cryptocurrency seems to be diminishing, and a lot of new investors are coming into the crypto markets right now.
Yeah. What do you think it is about the situation? Cryptocurrencies are not new. It's been around for a number of years. What is it about right now that is, shielding the kind of the cryptocurrency from that major volatility that is happening in traditional markets?
Well, I think, let's be clear, there's been a lot of volatility in all markets, including crypto markets. I think traditionally, again, over the last 2-year period, you'd see the volatility in crypto markets is much higher than in regular markets, but we've seen an inversion right now. The volatility in regular markets is now actually higher than what we're seeing in crypto markets. So if you look year to date, the volatility on the S&P and the Dow is actually higher than the volatility on Bitcoin. So it's a less volatile investment, which is something that I think one would have been surprised to hear oneself say. The other thing that's interesting from a statistics standpoint, if you look at the year-to-date performance, Bitcoin's up, roughly around 9.43% year-to-date. Again, that will change depending on when you look at it. And S&P is down about 18.7%. So crypto markets are up for the year, and traditional markets are still down. And we're going to not see an end to this volatility, I think, anytime soon, as the whole situation with Corona and the crisis, continues to evolve. And there's really a 5-minute, 10-minute news cycle right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think, that this performance, this reaction to the crisis, both by the traditional markets and by the cryptocurrency markets, do you think that this will finally give institutional investors kind of, the all good, the all pass, that the cryptocurrencies could handle things like this equally or even better than traditional markets?
Well, I don't think it's going to change overnight. I think what's one of the other interesting things about crypto markets, they don't close, they're 24/7. Regular markets aren't 24/7, but we've seen now with this increased vol, some of the traditional markets have actually, they hit their trading breaks, as they call them. If the Dow has too much down selling or downward pressure, the market doesn't even open, or the market closes early. So it's interesting to see that the crypto markets can really react to the volatility, absorb it, and you'll see price moves 24/7. So I think that's been something that's been very interesting and different for investors, and I think, again, will start to show the whole value proposition of crypto. It's just a different way of settling assets. You can do it 24/7. You can do it from your house, which is very important right now in Corona. Everyone's trapped indoors, and this is something you can do already from your computer. And that's, it's going to be very interesting to see how behavioral patterns in investing and a lot of different asset classes change from this. And it seems that the world is much more aligned with just the way that we already do things right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely unprecedented times for all of us, but especially to be the CFO and COO of a company. Many have turned to instructing their workers, to work from home, unpaid leaves. Macy's just had a major announcement where they're laying off much of their workforce. What steps have you had to take, operationally in response to the COVID-19 crisis?
I think this industry as well is one that already operates where everyone operates quite remote. We use technology. We're used to doing Zoom and video calls. So again, I think the rest of the world is having to sort of adapt to the way that we already do things. I mean, clearly things have changed. We still do face-to-face meetings with clients or with vendors. We do have offices. We can't go to them. But even on normal times, quote unquote normal, I would say that this industry operates in a way that's much more attuned to this type of work pace. So I think we're far less affected. And again, ironically, we're seeing a lot of new customer demand and interest. So and again, it's a horrible reason to be doing well, and we wish the world wasn't like this. But I think it shows the resilience and how quickly this industry and this company can adapt. And again, we're there for our customers. So during the middle of the crisis, we're launching new features. We're trying to be much more customer centric, giving them new ways where they can access crypto markets and Bittrex Global.
Yeah, but speaking about new products, you tell me a little bit about Bittrex Euro markets that you guys recently launched.
So the Euro markets, and again, not to be confused with Euro markets in the traditional financial services sense, we've launched EUR or Euro currency trading pairs. So right now, you could only access Bittrex before with fiat through US dollar. Clearly, we're based in Europe, and we want to have one of the other major world currencies. So we've launched a couple of pairs on the exchange. To start with, you can trade directly using Euro. You can get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT. You can get into BSV, Bitcoin Cash, and Tron. And we're going to be adding different pairs every week. So, and probably over time, we'll be adding other currency on-ramps as well. So you should be looking for Swiss franc, sterling, and some other currencies coming down the pike from us.
Wow. Now, why now? Why have you guys decided now in order to add these on-ramps?
I'd say that, again, it's really just huge customer demand. And when you have new clients coming in or new investors into crypto, they have to have a fiat on-ramp because they're sitting in fiat. They don't own crypto. So in order to grow the market and to make Bittrex Global more user-friendly for our clients, and not just our retail clients, our institutional clients in Europe, and again, the company's headquartered in Liechtenstein, we need to be able to offer them Euro, Swiss franc, other currencies. Not everyone's using USD.
Now, many companies right now are really struggling financially and having to do major cutbacks, but you guys have actually done the opposite. You guys have actually going to remove trading fees through April 30th. Why do you guys decide on that move?
Again, we think it's the right move to do. We're launching a new market, especially given the crisis that's going on right now. We think it's the least we can do to do our part, but also we want to make it really seamless for new investors who want to get into the asset class to be able to access it and make it friction free, so they can come in without fees.
All right, now, a lot has been spoken about, definitely by a lot of the damage being caused by this coronavirus, COVID-19. But, on the more positive side, what unique opportunities have arisen, definitely trading-wise, from this once-in-a-lifetime global crisis?
Sure, I think that's a great question. For investors, clearly there's going to be opportunities to gain favorable entry prices on securities in which they have high levels of conviction. That goes in traditional markets, but obviously in crypto markets as well. There's been a huge price correction. So if you're a believer in the asset class and you have a 5 to 10 year outlook, there's going to be some compelling buying opportunities. And I would say the same thing for traditional markets as well. But what's interesting about this market, unlike traditional markets, they're not really functioning right now. There's no new issues coming. Those markets don't work remotely. Whereas for us, we have a huge listing pipeline. The market's still functioning. And I think a lot of interesting project teams are finding this as an opportunity to come to market, given the new investor interest in the asset class. So we think in our industry, this whole crisis is going to be a good barometer of how cryptocurrencies fare relative to other asset classes, going back to your earlier question about institutions. And if we see that crypto outperforms traditional asset classes during a sort of crisis or bear market, institutions are going to rethink the asset class in general. I think more importantly for us as a platform, it's really challenging us to innovate. How do we make our user experience the best, not just for retail investors who might be new to crypto, existing crypto traders who are active in the market, and institutional clients who have a different sort of level of service demands. So I think every investor is going to be reevaluating their portfolio and the vendors that they use. This is a time for companies that want to emerge stronger from the crisis and be able to do more for their clients and respond flexibly to change. Those companies are going to do well, and we hope to be one of those.
Now, especially a global event like this will cause major changes even after it's done. It'll have rippling effects both economically as well as effects on healthcare, maybe even politically. But like you mentioned, during the actual crisis, cryptocurrencies does have a kind of unique advantage. We're already used to working remotely. Like you mentioned, crypto markets are open 24/7, and crypto exchanges like yours are actually stepping up, dropping fees. doing major steps to kind of help out traders and provide them with services during this crisis. Do you feel that this is kind of like a testing ground, a testing period, and if the crypto community, both on the exchange side as well as the actual currencies themselves, if they perform better or as expected, do you think that this could be a major launching point for mass adoption once this is all over?
It will, you know what, a situation like this causes people to rethink everything. And I think whatever they took for granted, or as their recency bias of what's normal, everything's out the window. So all I can say is that this asset class is doing well. Our markets are functioning. Our markets are 24/7. We're continually focused on not just improving the customer experience, but we're also very focused on regulation. I can't say that everyone in the industry is focused on that. So we have all the things you would want from the traditional world: safety, security, regulation. But we're combining that with product innovation and a new asset class that I think is showing signs of maturing and maturing well.
Mm-hmm. Well, Stephen, it's amazing to see that even in these tough times, companies like yours could still be innovating, improving, and providing their customers, with different products. So thank you so much for joining me today, Stephen. And for all our viewers at home, if you want more on blockchain, crypto, and technology news, make sure to check us out at blocktv.com.
Watch us on Amazon Fire TV and Roku.